So whenever my name is associated with something, because I don't fear facts. I don't fear proof. I don't fear anything like that. But the thing is, and like I said, everyone has an artistic thing that they want to do. Wow. But when it comes to telling our stories, people want to find one line, and that's what cannot take place if it is associated. And of course, each individual, you have your own story. But if you're gonna put me in your story, it's got to be factual, because I am determined. Before I leave off the face of the earth, nobody's gonna be saying the name Jesus. I'm determined of that, and I'm determined of that because I think it is wrong. I don't want to get too long. It's wrong to pass down another lie. Every lie that exists in the Christian church has been passed down generation to generation. So that means somebody in church had to pass that lie down. So that's how come it's very important for the things that we say about our lives, about our journey, has to be factual.
Sorry.
No, go ahead, Dan. You have something to say.
Well, the bishop is saying some very disruptive things, and it would probably shake up the whole world as it exists today. It's the way our mentality has been controlled by pattern for years. So we all know that that can be a dangerous thing. And for me, the best way to teach people is through entertainment, and it's the safest way, you know? And that's the reason why storytelling to me is important. But it's important for us to be telling the story so we can tell the right story. And the reason why I'm with the Yah Squad is these are the right stories. These are the stories that are human, that are relatable, where you come from a place where you have to define yourself and you have to find the light in the dark. You have to survive. You have to have perseverance. And the strength that I feel with y'all, everyone, I feel perseverance. I feel strength. I feel pride for beating certain things and coming out on top, you know? And when I saw the movie and when you guys talked and we did the screening, I just felt like they know how to tell these kind of stories, and they know how to tell these kind of stories in the right professional way, but not in the traditional way. Because the traditional way means we don't do it on our own. Traditionally, the fear makes us not tell our stories. We let other people tell our stories. And also because we have to tell our stories alone. We can't do them without a team. And they always make us think we need them. But we're the new team, and there's a new way to do things. So I'm trying to bring everyone together, like-minded, that can also tell stories truthfully, but execute them. You know, because everyone here, after you make this movie and this television show, you will be able to make one on your own. So the purpose is not to make you dependent on us, it's to make you independent and be our partners. And this is what this whole thing is, and that's why every single time I see an innovation, every single time there's a platform, I want y'all to know about it as I know about it. And I want y'all to be doing things at the same pace I'm doing things. And because y'all down for that challenge, you making me step my game up, and I need help. So, you know, I called my cousin in Omar, and I was like, look, I got a lot on my plate. This needs focus. These stories are real. You've told stories about defining moments. And I think that this would be a great time to come together and go get an Oscar, and then also make up our own award and give it to ourselves as well. You know what I mean? And that's what the whole purpose of this is. And, you know, I sent him over your stories, and I just wanted you as a filmmaker, a TV maker, a storyteller to, you know, it's a lot of stories, how to break it up, what we would do, and show them how to produce it, and let's do this together. And all our faces, it's us, it's culture, it's us telling our own stories. It's pride in that, and telling it better than them. That's the important thing, to be better. Not to be good for black or good for us, better than them because we better, you know? So you're right, Bishop, you're right. These lies, they go down in history, but we make the right movies, we make the right visuals, That's what people will see forever, for generations. That's the way we redefine history, through entertainment, because that's the way people that are programmed are controlled. So we're going to control people. Let's control them to do the right stuff, not the wrong. But that's the purpose of this. I'm sorry, but I just wanted to say that.
No, that was right up. That was right on, Dan. Making film for me, and I think I could also speak for Cuddy, is definitely something that we want to be able to tell our stories the right way. We want to be able to tell them with truth, with conviction, with integrity. Like Dave said, these are our stories. These are the stories that we need to tell. We don't need nobody trying to dictate what it is that, what stories we have. We don't need nobody to tell us how to do that. I'm definitely excited to put this together. I'm definitely excited to make this happen. I think this is going to be a really good, really good situation, for everybody that's involved. Cuddy, what you think?
Yeah, man, I just want to piggyback off what James said for a minute. There's two things that really stood out. There's power in numbers. You know what I'm saying? As we sit here on this phone call, how you guys put together things so quickly, so professionally. I see the way you follow Bishop. I just study these things. And the passion, that's what it's going to take. But the second thing that Dane spoke about, which I really respect, is that he's not trying to rape the culture, if you will. He's giving back. He's not sitting up here saying, yo, give me your stories, I'm going to make it with my team. He's telling you, we're going to teach you how to fish so you can do it yourself. You know what I mean? And that's what's so important. It's like we can have courses and classes about the art of writing, breaking down the script, production. Not everybody in here necessarily wants or will be a director, but there are some other future directors out here. You know what I mean? So give back to our own, where we're multiplying. You know what I mean? Where there'll be somebody else on this phone one day leading another call of the next group in filmmaking. That's just so powerful, and it speaks volumes to what this man is saying. So I just wanted to add that.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. So,
man, it's like it's nothing. Because the other thing, I was at this workshop, and this is really important. What we digest. You know what I'm saying? They say we are what we eat. And I was at this workshop with NBC. This is years back. And there was this show called Breaking Bad. They showed a trailer for it. And the lady from NBC was talking about it, like, who knows this show? And I raised my hand. It was like 3% of the audience that even knew the show. Now, we all have artist subjective and everything. But it's like, we have to be very careful what we taking in. Dane gave us a lot of credit for the film you saw, but that wasn't based off of me just watching just a bunch of hood tales either. You get me? Like, we taking a lot of different art because that's what they've been doing to us for years. You know what I'm saying? Stealing our stuff and then repurposing it. So the power that we have in these numbers, where I can sit up here and give some resources, read this book, study this, watch this clip, is going to speak magnitudes to the work that comes out of this, because one of the goals is, as a storyteller, you're trying to figure out your style, your signature as we move on. That's what I had to learn. The first film I ever directed, I just was like a template. You know what I mean? I saw someone else, so I did exactly what they did. And then as I move on, I'm like, oh, well, nah, I don't want to do it like that. There's certain things you got to stick to technically. But other than that, you're learning your style. You know what I mean? You think about some of the greatest writers, even if you don't like some people on TV right now, there's a lot of filmmakers I do not like. But when I see something, I know it's their work. Because they have a style. You know their signature, whether you like it or not, like, oh, that's so-and-so. You know what I mean? So, like, that's part of this. I look at it like, Dame, if you will, almost like a boot camp.
Right.
You know what I mean? Where you're going to have a bunch of soldiers, you know what I mean, that's going to turn into lieutenants and be all over the place. Oh, we got writers here, producers here, actors here. We got set designers here. You know what I mean? There's so many different avenues to this industry, but the way we're doing it is not just about making money. That's coming too. But it's like telling art with intent.
Right. And
you know what I mean? That's the mission we're on.
And what you were saying about styles, that's having a point of view is very important. It's something where it's intentional, and you know that it's coming from that person, from their eyes. They did it on purpose, and that's point of view is very important. That translates into fashion, music, movies, art. It's all about being an individual, and that's what makes you stand out is your point of view. So, you know, what I kind of wanted to do was I wanted to talk about the way I structurally saw the story going. And the way I see it is, you know, the Bishop has a place where people come from all over, and they all are very like-minded, and they're talking about the things they're talking about. And it's very dynamic. But what happens is, you know, what happens in their life when they go home and the defining stories that got them there. You know, so the way I saw it would be, number one, you know, I would start off with maybe either at the I don't even know what to call it, a church. Like, what do I call it, Bishop? You know, it's the Love House. So we start at the Love House.
Assembly, the Love House, okay.
All right.
You know, you kicking things. So the Greek word is actually ecclesia. Ecclesia is made of two Greek words. It means out, ecclesia means called. So church is a bad translation. It really means the called out ones. So what the called out ones did, they began to assemble, and that's the term that we should do. So it's assembly. It's an assembly of people, you know. But love assembly is good. But another thing I think which needs to be stressed in the stories: 99% of the people with me never ever wanted to go to church, never ever envisioned themselves in church, didn't want to have anything to do with church. Take even further, didn't associate themselves with religion.
Okay, stop right there. Right there, wait. Stop right there.
In other words,
real quick. That's maybe how we would start the movie or start the TV show with what you just said. You know, I also like, you know, the way you know, when you get on one, I don't know if it's called talking in tongues or whatever it is, when you get the spirit, you go. And I like that voice. You know what I'm saying? I like the power in it. So, you know, so I feel like starting with that, you know, I like that. 99% of the people in my Love House never went to church or wanted to go to church in my assembly. And you start it, you bring it there. And it starts with one of those performances that y'all do where it's aggressive and you don't know whether you're in a church or a rap concert. And then from there, maybe cut to your first church when you're in a warehouse. So, you know, from the story I remember, you know, you're a different kind of bishop and you were doing things like you're doing that are disruptive, and people, when the traditional industry were turning their backs on you, you went and did it your way. You were driving around in an 850. You looked like a drug dealer, but you weren't. You talked like a drug dealer, but you weren't. You dressed like a drug dealer, but you weren't. You know? And people respected you because you have no fear. You know, it takes a lot to say disruptive things in a world where everyone's doing the opposite. Like, that's dangerous what you're saying to people that believe in that very hard. It takes bravery to be that disruptive for something that deep. Institution. And showing a little bit of your, you know, your journey, how you met your wife, the whole nine, bomb. We get back to the place, we look in the crowd, whoever's saying are in the crowd, this is such and such. Then it goes into the story and the backstory, and it comes back, and so on and so forth. You know, and then from there, you know, I have to figure out where the end is for the first episode. That's the way I saw it. And I'm just talking, and you got to throw it on the wall, and this is the process. This came from me having conversations with the bishop and him telling me bits and pieces of his life throughout our conversation. But the things that I'm saying are the things that are very sticky to me, that I think people, you know, the fact that he had an 850 is a big deal. I need to see him drive an 850, you know. Talking about his style, that he loves cars. There's a lot of subtle things that are like, you know, it's hard to believe he's not a drug dealer. You know what I'm saying? It's like you have drug dealer swag. You know what I mean? But he's a love dealer. You know, The love dealer. Interesting. So that's how I was seeing it. But
well, the thing is, Mr. Dick.
but now I'm gonna pass the ball to Cuddy. No, let me pass the ball to Cuddy. Now, based on that, please, Bill, what do you think? And it doesn't have to be the same thing or not.
No, I see it, man. Like the way you laid that out, it reminded me, excuse the pun, of some Paid in Full too. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like with a twist. So I like the love dealer. You know what I mean? I like how he's getting people addicted the right. You know what I mean? And I think it's so important when you're doing all these flashes and cuts and everything to start with a foundation. So to your point, if we start with Bishop and a come up, and then later on we segue into different flashes of people in the crowd or whatever, and their stories and their testimony. Right then and there, regardless of my own personal beliefs, watching something like that, now I'm invested, right? Because I think what the focus is, and y'all know this, regardless of where you came from, for the 99% who wasn't with religion, a lot of people I know who weren't with religion initially was because it's too preachy.
Right.
You know what I mean? So to show people flaws and all, to show the humanity. Me being an educator, when I started education, you know how it is. Kids don't play. And I'm in DC. But what happened is the kids liked me because the first day of school, I had Kobe's on. So they're like, who is this dude? You know what I'm saying? Like, he ain't got no suit on. So what's up? We're going to give him a chance. Now, if you mess up, then it's whatever. You know what I mean? But that was the bridge. We have to be appealing. You know what I mean? So to see that 850 or whatever, already people are like, hold on, what's this?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So then we can play tennis all night. The way you laid it out, it's like, okay, bet, we got something.
Right.
So we can keep flowing off of that.
So now I'm going to give the rock to...
Go ahead, Bishop. I know you
wait, well, let me just do this. Bishop, we're at the part where we would pick the first 3 people's stories that we would tell. Which stories would you pick, Bishop? These are people that are in the crowd, either dancing, rapping. No. All their stories will be told.
Okay.
First 3.
Right. Boom. I would go with Monique. Monique came into the ministry when she was 8 years old. She came in after her uncle, who was really big in New York, one shot hot. He was murdered by his friends from Zoo Crew. That caused her grandmother come in.
Time out. The Zoo Crew?
Yes. Yeah, that's that. And
I know them though. I know those guys. What happened?
Yeah, you know those guys. Her father was on one of the meetings that you came on, Phil. But anyway, when Monique came in, she came in at 8. Came in because her grandmother's heart was broke because One Shot Hawk had got murdered by his friends. Then I got this 8-year-old sending faxes to pastors and phone calls saying the name Jesus is not his real name. So I'm getting phone calls and these pastors like, yo, your members are disrespectful. You're starting a revolution. You're doing it the wrong way. It's not loving. I said, look, I apologize. She's 8. As soon as they hear she's 8, they apologize to me. As soon as they hear they're 8, I'm sorry, I apologize. They thought she was a 20-year-old. Then, Monique can go into her own little thing, but that's a beyond powerful story because it involves so much. I mean, from the tragedy of losing her uncle, she was there that night. He said, "Hey, Hawk, come outside. Hear gunshot, blah blah blah." Was major. You know what I'm saying? So that began a whole war.
So and real quick, real quick. So the way of the stories, the same way, and you would tell the story the same way, and then I would just fill it with shots, the point things you said in montage. You understand what I mean? And then get
but I got a better one. Listen to this. I think the person whose story it is, they should narrate. So each time you got something. Don't get me wrong. I'm still,
That's not a bad idea. I just like the way you tell the story. They have to tell the story in that way.
Oh, baby, I see Chad doing something. What's up, Chad?
Now, I say I agree with both of you to what Dame is saying. Like Bishop, your delivery is automatically engaging.
Right.
Right. So I'm not here to disrespect anybody, but even with me and Ty knew that she couldn't tell the story. We had Melinda Williams narrate it, right? Because she was too monotone. She didn't really act. You got to still be theatrical.
Yeah, you're a very animated guy, bro. You talk like you're playing an electric guitar.
Yeah. So regardless, the first 5 minutes you speak, Bishop, people listening, just based off of the way you deliver something. Right. Now, the inverse of that is somebody who has a very powerful story, but they're not really a powerful speaker. We gonna miss the story.
Well, and also
turn out quick.
Also, it might be easy to have them act as themselves. So they're acting as themselves. They're going to be in the movie. So that's why it's better for you to tell it. I think just because the way your swag is. But again, we could try both ways. It doesn't matter. It's just a narration. But we could try both ways. But the way I see it, I think your voice, she's 8. Like, it's hard to say that. Boom! Nobody's going to do boom. Nobody can do that. You know what I'm saying?
I got a quick example for you. I was on a few years, this is way back. It was 2015. It was a bucket list for my mom. We were on Family Feud. You know what I'm saying? We go to Atlanta. We with the producers. But me, I'm real shy when it comes to TV. I'm like the behind the scenes dude. So they telling us to practice saying Quinn fam, whatever. And the way I was doing it, they was like, yeah, nah, we want you, but you not bringing that energy we need for TV. And I humbly submitted, like, yeah, you're right. Let my wife do it. Let my brother do it. I still was on the show and everything, but I wasn't the lead off because my energy wasn't where it needed to be when those cameras came on, if that makes any sense to you.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
But we'll see. But, okay, who's the second one? So Monique, and who's the second one story? Because that's about 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes right there of her story. And then and then who's the second one?
Project.
Now, if you like, Bishop, because every time you keep telling the story, then you're going to keep having to be the person to tell it. If you tell it too well, they can tell the story right now if you like, and give me a sum up of their story.
All right, Jack, you ready to go?
Yes. So the way that I met Bishop Purnell, I met him through his sister. I'm originally from Durham, North Carolina, and I was proud to be from the Bull City. I said that I was going to live and die in the Bull City. I'd never leave the Bull City, but I found myself in New Jersey because I met Bishop, because I met Yahweh. So when I was a teenager, I was going to the Seventh-day Adventist church only because my grandmother went. And I met someone who was in medical school, and they told me, they said, you know what? You should come out to this Bible study and meet somebody that's very powerful. I think you'll like him. I was like, okay. I was like 16. So I go to this Bible study, and I see this tall, slender young lady. And the first thing she did was she hugged me. And I was like, why is she hugging me? And the reason I say that is because of my background. I didn't come from a loving home. I didn't come from a mom or a family that gave hugs or was encouraging. But that immediately struck out for me. And then so she hugged me, and I was just like, oh, wow. So then while I was there, I just felt this power. I felt like I was a small person in a big room. And it just felt electric to me. Still had no idea what was about to happen. So she begins to teach, and what she taught on was about the role of women in the body of the Messiah. So she was breaking the scripture down. Now, mind you, the room was filling up with other medical students. So can you imagine the black excellence? Oh my goodness. People who went to Brown, Dartmouth, Stanford. And I'm telling you, I was still in high school, and I didn't like school. But to be in the midst of so many great people. And so I'm sitting there, and I'm just like, yo, this just the spirit was, my spirit was just doing leaps. And so she finished teaching, and then she said, well, we're going to come together, we're going to pray. And so I bowed my head, and so She prayed. Well, when she prayed, she prophesied. Never had a prophecy. Never did, because I never believed in it. I didn't believe in the gifts of the Spirit or any of those things. I didn't know what it was. But when she prayed a prayer that I prayed in my house 2 weeks prior. She prayed the answer to everything I asked. And immediately the Holy Spirit said, this is why I called you to be. And I was overwhelmed. And so when I left her, and I got back in the car with the other young lady, I said, what'd you tell her about me? She said, I didn't tell her anything. And it blew my mind. But it was the point in my life where I knew I found something I was willing to live and die for. That's why I found my purpose when I heard her and when I met her. So in meeting her, I met Bishop. Bishop was in Israel. And he sent her an email. And what he said was, Yahweh's been dealing with me about your friend. Yahweh called her to be the mouth of the South. Yahweh called her to be that Malcolm X of righteousness. Yahweh said she's going to take the truth and she's going to put her name on it. And all the while, you're talking about a 16-year-old. I didn't believe in my own self. I came from an environment, my mom was addicted to crack, alcoholic, all of those things. And for him to send that word, and then I learned to hear from the Holy Spirit. I learned the power of the anointing. I learned the power of the Ruach. And I was just floored. I was amazed. It changed my life. And I used to get beat up for going to Bible study. You said something very powerful about love addiction. I was introduced to love and I was addicted to it. And I was willing, and still am, willing to die for it. Because it's nothing like it once you encounter it, right? And so every time I went to Bible study, I would get beat up. My mother would beat me down like somebody in the street. And every time she would beat me, I said, Mom, are you done? Because I'm still going.
Can I ask a question?
Even my family said I was crazy.
Is this the same story, Bishop, that you were telling me, that you had to drop her off and it would break your heart every time?
Yeah. And what's so powerful about this is not the story I would have said about her. And I think within everyone here, there are stories. I think that's powerful.
Well,
because, I'm a little more dramatic. So you know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is but first story, what she picked out. I mean, that was.
Well, first of all, she definitely should do her own voice. I remember her telling her story, and I remember her telling her story in the other screening. She's the type of person that breaks off and then has her own movie. You understand? So you have to look at this movie like a mixtape.
Yes.
And it's a mixtape where you're introducing each person like they're a single. And once people like that single, it turns into an album, which is actually a movie. Same process. So this is just an introduction. And what I like about the story is it also is the young lady you said you met is the bishop's wife that hugged you, right? That was the young.
That's not.
Oh, that's the sister. So okay, so that's a great. So wait. So then that's a great segue into introducing your sister as well. You understand what I mean? So she talks about the sister and doing this, and then it goes into the sister story. Is she on? And I want you to say like the way the young lady you just delivered that story is magic for movies. If you can do, and I know you can do it because you have it. See, the thing I know about y'all is like, again, the bishop has a strong spirit, and when I hear y'all speak, I can feel his energy in y'all, and it becomes your energy. You understand what I'm saying? It's like, and that's what focused energy is. You all have the same courage as him. You're all fearless like him. You're all proud to fight, and you're proud of the things that have happened to you because you survived them like a G. But it's so gangster. That's why I'm like, it's like, you're right, it's paid in full, but instead of crack, it's love. This shit is dope. I love it. I love it. So that's 2. Let's get to the next one. Because that's the first episode, you know, we're good. You know what I'm saying?
Let me see. This is the next one, okay? You ready? So first...
No, you got to introduce them because then you're going to tell the story too good. Let them tell the story.
I'm going to tell it double heavy.
No, but then they got to come behind you. You're going to close the show. Don't bully Don't bully.
Good.
All right, go ahead. You got it. Do it. You feel it. Go ahead. Do it.
Bishop, yo, this happened last year. I think this happened last year. Not last year, the year before. Yo, Bishop, you home? I'm like, yeah, I'm home, man. He's like, all right, I'm coming in the back. Open up the door. Here's Righteous Ron, blood all up, all cut up. Hey, I was like, yo, what happened? Yo, man, I just got jumped, man. You think I look bad? You should see who I was tussling with, man. I mean, I got some blows in. So I'm like, yo, I'm looking around like, yo, did you bring somebody to my house, man? Somebody following? No, you good, man. Ain't nobody following. I'm like, yo, Righteous, how you get into a fight? Well, I went to the auto shop, man, you know. I see my old boy, Mike. I said, what's up, Mike? This guy come up to him, he got a beat. I told him, yo, it's good. He with me. He didn't take my word, so I had to brawl. And they all jumped me, so I had to hit back. I'm like, Ron, your wife, I think Princess is a principal. She had some conference, and he's supposed to pick her up at the airport. So I said, look, man, you need stitches. I'm taking you to the emergency room. I said, well, you gotta act completely hurt. So this brother's all bloodied up. I got him. We come into the emergency room, all bloody and everything, and then we take him on the table. But that's the stuff that, you know, my
wait. So now this is the way I see it now. Because I kind of like the fact that you have a point of view and you will tell a different story. And then someone else themselves will tell a different story. You know? So it's cool to have the interaction where you say your thing, what you know about them, and then they go right back and then they go into what, you know, her story is. So you have your story for her, which you told me, how it broke your heart to drop her off. And she has her story from her perspective. It's about perspective. And within that, you get to have a point of view. You know?
Yeah, I like that a lot, Dave. I like that.
Yeah. So let's get one more. And then we don't want to have overload. We want to, because we could do this for hours. But let's get 20, if we can, just based on this. If this is enough for you to put together a story and you have the specifics and we send you, I feel like we have the episode here. It's just on paper and we could get to it.
Righteous, come tell your story. Come on, Righteous, come to the mic and tell your story. And Righteous, you can start from jail. You can start from jail.
Oh, wait. Also, one more thing. Also, you saw the way you were mouthing, you were saying what he was saying?
Yes.
So it would be him speaking, but you would hear your voice imitating him while you're telling his story. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
And then he would go in and tell his story his way. That's not my voice. Here's my voice. Bam. There you go.
Go, Righteous, go.
Yeah, and by the way, Bishop saved people lives in the street. You know, because when he took me to the hospital, he was picking up my phone call and shutting down and making sure nobody was going to retaliate.
Because his crew wanted to retaliate. I'm like, yo, you can't retaliate over church. We're ministry, man. Come on. So I'm calming down his homeboys that want to retaliate immediately. Like, no, I ain't going out like this.
Yeah. And another crazy story from my brother. I had a brother that I got pistol with, and then I called Bishop immediately, you know, because I already knew they went out there on the block with the AK about to spray the whole street up. And if it wasn't for Bishop, they was gonna shoot the whole block up, you know, because he power rope, you know. So his people's about that, but we really saved lives, you know. But my testimony started when I was locked up. You know, I like to talk, so it's 9:17, 9:23, 5 minutes. I'm gonna shut it down. You understand? But anyways, I was locked up for selling drugs. You know, I was like, what people don't talk about drug dealers or people that actually been on the streets and live in the streets and wake up every day in the streets, go to sleep, wake back up on the block, they pick up the street. People call it an energy. But when you're in ministry, it because that energy is a spirit. You know? So you gravitate that energy, which now that I'm mature in ministry, it became a spirit. So you gravitate to that spirit where you just become straight up cold heart. You know, you don't care about anything else, and that's a deadly spirit because you know you always on go. You know, but anyways, to make a long story short, you know, I got locked up. Got locked up for drugs. Got locked up for guns. They had the helicopter out. You know, they made it seem like it was Scarface. You know, but it was crazy. But anyways, when I got locked up, you know, they took us to the precinct. You know, before they take us to the county, took us to the precinct. You know, they asked, you know, yo, who's gonna take the charges? You know, I'm like, you know what? I'm good. Put all the charges on me. You know, when I come home, I'm gonna be good. You know, but they asked, you know, they ain't locked up. They ain't give nobody the charges.
All right, here we go.
They ain't say nothing. Long story short,
Quiet.
Ended up getting locked up. I have tattoos that's not gang related, but it could be taken as if it was gang related. So they brought me to the blood unit, which I always used to be for blood. You know, back in the days, I used to be for blood back in the days. Then I touched the blood TV. Once I touched blood TV, they came up at me. You can't touch this TV. Disrespecting my manhood, you know.
Thanks.
Felt real bad, you know. Ended up getting jumped because I wasn't going to allow that to slide. Little did I know, there's a scripture that says all things work together for good for those that believe. You know, and sometimes you might be in a situation where it's bad, but y'all already know how to turn it around. Ended up going to another blood unit.
Governor, come on, knock it off.
You know, I don't even roll with these bloods like that. I already know the type of vibe I'm gonna get once I'm in there. So I ended up going to another blood unit, ended up getting jumped again. And this time the CEO was the one that helped me get jumped because I was wilding out on the CEO. You know? When I went then they brought me to a crip unit, then I told myself, you know what?
So y'all all been isolating?
Because I can't be getting jumped like this back and forth. I went there. My bunkie name was Loki. He was a Crip. You know, he was a Muslim. You know, and we just started talking. The first time I ever read a book was when I was locked up. And the book that I read was like a Rastafarian book. And within that book, right, they talked about what the white man, no disrespect to anybody white, but what the white man, you know, did to us, you know, as a black man, you know, and it was so descriptive, you know, how they used to throw the slave, when the slaves that jumped off the boat, they had to get the slave out the water, bring him back in the boat, chop him up, right, and make everybody else eat a part of the body to control the slave from jumping off of the boat.
Damn.
So they, you know, so all of that, it became a crazy energy, you know, but within all that, I heard a voice. The voice was so clear, vivid. The voice was like, you're going to beat your case. The voice was like, you're going to go to a church that's going to change the world. The voice was like, you're going to go to Africa. The voice was like, you're going to marry a princess. And Yahweh says, the same way that the guy jumped you for touching the TV and I was locked up, is the same way when you come on TV, they're going to put your volume up. And I was going to be famous through my music. I came home. They threw a party for me. And I was like, yo, I got to get a job. My lawyer came with like, if you don't get a job, ain't no way you going to be able to beat this case because y'all, they lining all of y'all out. I come home, get a job. A friend of mine invited me to church. At the time I was doing the same thing you was doing. I rolled up my blunt, went to church, and Bishop prayed over me. And he made me cry. because
And he wanted to
knew.
fight me because of it. He wanted to fight me because I made him cry. I'm like, yo, what's up? I just prayed for you, dude. Why you make me cry? I'm like, what? Boy, Ron.
Yeah, you know, and he made me cry. Right now, I beat my case, and I ain't have to snitch. No disrespect, I ain't have to snitch because y'all already told me I was gonna beat my case. I went to Africa with Bishop 3 times. 3 times. I married my wife, Princess, which is the principal. I go to a church that we are changing the world, even as in right now. Even as in right now. And I got all when I was locked up, I was when I was calling the homies at the time, it was like, yo, we gotta get him out of jail. Yo, he's talking crazy. It ain't making no sense. But I'm like, yo, man, I'm gonna change my life around. Even though when I came home, I wasn't selling drugs no more, but I was doing robbery, But at the time, I didn't know how all of that was going to connect. I didn't know how all of that was going to connect. I had to get that job. I had to be invited in the church. And then when I went to church, only thing Bishop was talking about, we going to change them. Yo, Bishop been doing this for years. Saying the same things for years. We going to change the world. We going to change the world. We going to change the world. Once he said that, I'm like, oh, snap. I remember. Yahweh told me that I was going to go to a ministry that I was going to change the world. But I'm over 1 minute, though. Your boy righteous.
So that was perfect because it's enough. It's everything. I think it's relatively easy, and we don't have to go get actors. We don't have to get locations. We got the cameras. All we got to do is structure it and do this, and do it calmly. Not do too much at a time. Let's say that's first episode. So if you guys could, what do you think? How do we? What's next steps now? And then we just close it up so we don't get overwhelmed. And we'll get to the next episode.
I think that the next step, now that we got the 3 episodes, like you said, it's just about the structure. I think, even tonight, I felt like a student, Dame, listening to you and your process. And then Righteous was the last one, right? Yeah, man, I like you. I like all of them, man. Like I'm visualizing as they're talking.
Yeah. And
you speak with intention, but then you go side rail for a second. It'd be funny if Bishop even started your story.
Yeah.
And then we refine, like, nah, I didn't even like that. This is how it really went down.
Yeah. I like the back and forth. I like it because it was so natural between the two of them how they just went back and forth. It just felt good. It felt really good.
Yeah. So this was a great way to start. Like you said, it's just now I got to go back because I don't like Dame like everybody that shared. I don't take anybody's stories lightly. Right. So I'm not gonna lie to you. I read through everything thoroughly. Now that I can go ahead and focus on all right, let's look at these first 3 first. You know what I'm saying? And then break out what that looks like. And we talk about a TV show. We talking 30 minutes. Okay, we need 3 to 5 minutes here. Bam, boom.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And then we knock it out.
Bomb.
Yeah, we got something here. We got something.
Easy work. And it's not gonna be acting. They just telling their story.
That's all.
You ain't even gotta act.
It's
gotta be you. That's the That's the best stories. It's authentic. It comes from a real place, and it got enough gangster stuff in it. But again, the love dealer. You like that? What we call it? The love mafia. What do you call it? But anyway, but I do want to keep the word love in there because that's what he defines as the religion. If you say, what do you call it? He says it's not Christianity. He calls it love, and then he moves on. He don't even want to name it really. It's energy or spirit. Spirit. I like that. I like that part. All right. So this was very productive, and
excellent.
Honestly, this is. I've sat in writing rooms, and it's not this easy. They usually make it very difficult. But this was one of the easiest and clearest sessions I've ever had. Very professional. Y'all had everything. I mean, I actually saw the movie. I saw it.
Now, what's so deep is I don't think those two wrote their stories. Monique, you didn't write your story, right?
Not yet, no.
So you got to write it, and Ron, you got to write yours. Proji already wrote hers, so we can get that to you as soon as possible. What tomorrow, you guys? Monique? Ron? Tomorrow, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Now, I just have
So
a
the
question
stories you have,
for
How much time we got?
it's time.
Okay.
what's your question, Monique?
Oh, okay.
You froze.
I just had a question for Chad and Omar. I just wanted to know, because I really, really believe that no one can tell your story as great as you can. And so, in telling my story is really important that I really, really capture the essence of what I went through that made me into the pastor that I am today. And so I just wanted to get input in regards to, like, when writing a script, what are some major checks and balances that you must have, especially when it comes to writing your story?
I would say first and foremost is the format.
Yeah.
Right. As far as writing an actual script, you need to know the format, and that, you know, you can go online and look at other screenplays and TV shows. I can send you scripts. So you got to have the format. Then it's stylistic, and Dame talked about this earlier too. You know what I mean? Some people, I like to be descriptive, but brief. You know what I mean? As far as the action sequences and the narrative and everything, but to be very clear, and we said this at the last screening, these are your stories. So even if I'm speaking for O2, if we touched it, it would never be touched without y'all signing off on anything.
At all.
You know what I'm saying? So you write your story. If we look at it and we touch it, then we still give it back to you. You know what I mean? Or you just write it completely and we just go ahead and shoot it and make it happen. It's either or, because like I said, I know some people are writers, some people don't want to write. Some people, we're going to take their emails and their stories and they need there may be some gaps in the story that from a production standpoint, we got to fill in. You get what I'm saying? But there's, for the writers out there who really want to get into screenwriting, I'll give you 2 quick books, right? As resources. There's a book called Save the Cat. That's like, they call it the writer's Bible, if you will. And then there's this book called Screenwriting. Real simple title, but it's by this dude named Sid Field, SYDFIELD. You know, I had a chance a couple of years ago to judge a screenwriting contest for TV One, and 90% of the material I couldn't even look at because the format was off. Mm-hmm. Get me? So it's like I couldn't even get into these stories. It's little things like when you introduce a character, their name needs to be in cap locks. You know what I mean? Like, these are things you would know naturally if you never written, whatever. But it's like making sure that you have that initially. And then what's very important when you're writing, after you finish writing, read it out loud. Because it has to feel authentic, right? How many times have we watched TV show and every time a couple talking, they saying the other person's name? That's not real life. Mm-hmm. That's like, yo, Carolyn, did you wash dishes? No one's talking like that in a house. You know what I mean? But sometimes you're writing it, you're not thinking about that until you finish it. Once you read it out loud, you're like, oh, that don't even sound right. So I hope that helped you, you know.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. But this is fun, man. I'm excited.
Yeah. So let's reconvene next week, and we'll see where we're at. And you know, it's a process, and we're moving relatively fast. You know, but this will be your normal. So if somebody doesn't move this quick, you're gonna be like, y'all slow. But trust me, the other way takes years, and they don't get it done. And the validity of the subject matter usually gets diluted, and the stuff we once shown doesn't get seen. But this is a different way, and this is a different platform, and we're going to set a new precedent. So thank you. I appreciate y'all. Y'all keep stepping up. I'm going to keep giving y'all not going to out-hustle me, so we can keep this going. We're going to keep doing it. I have more stuff. The next time I'd like to talk about the art game. Let's talk about that, because you got some great art I was seeing. I wanted to talk about that. So thank you, Omar. You know, thanks to my cousin, thanks to Breeze, thank everybody. I appreciate everybody. I love y'all. You know, and thank you. And Cuddy, I appreciate you and everything that y'all been saying. Your knowledge, we're gonna have. I'm telling you, I think everybody in here is gonna be a filmmaker, so I can make 10 films and 20 films at a time instead of one. And that's what I want to be able to do. You know what I mean? So I appreciate y'all. Thank you, and thank you, Bishop. You know, thank you. All right, y'all. Love y'all.
All right, Dame. Appreciate you.
All right, thanks a lot. Thank you. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate
I know you want to say
it.
Good
night, everybody. Pretty great.
All right. Oh, let's get to the Now I'm about to do a Zoom with my OG Daniel. Pause. I never get him to talk. Can you see me? Yeah. Let me get my glasses back on. I never get him to get on live so much or a Zoom. So I've been trying to get at him to do it. So we doing it. Get to talk to my OG. You know what I mean? Period. See what we talk about. I ain't seen him in a minute. You know? Word. But as you see, the whole thing is to be productive all day, to be chipping away at the dream all day, doing things, helping others all day, you know? And I'm not just talking about it, I'm gonna show you. I'm not gonna hide the plug. I'm not gonna hide the sauce. I'm not gonna hide the formula. You know, you can get on here and hate if you want, or you can get on here and you can learn. You know, and if you're not about learning and evolving and being better, you're wasting your time. You're not gonna enjoy this. It ain't for you. You know, if you want to waste your time, if you want to make excuses, if you want to blame other people for your problems, if you want to complain, you want to hate, count other people's dollars, get off this live. Get off my page. You know, because you're going to be spreading bull. I'm trying to spread love. You know, and I'm showing it. And I want everybody to be dependent on themselves. Independent. Independence is priceless. You know, it's the ultimate security. It's having the ability and knowing in your heart that no matter what, you can flip something. And the reason why is because you're always doing something. Something's going to give. Something's going to give, or it usually comes all together, and then it just hits hard. And you catch that lick. And you don't want to make short bread. If you're dream about the big loaf, not the slice. Get the whole loaf. You feel me? They can see me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You feel me? I don't know how to work your phone. It's the same phone, right? I'm like, oh.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the type of time I'm on. I don't know what type of time y'all on, but you know, it's really about evolution in here and winning. And the right people having the control and the power. And the right people are the people that want to pass the power. You know? If you don't want to pass the power, if you don't want to distribute that love, because that's the power is the love. If you don't want to distribute that, you whack. Straight up.
If you want another amazing video with the one and only Dame Dash, check it out right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.